Oh, wait, what's going on here? All right, we don't have live video on one of the cameras, but we do on the spiritual neighborhood. Can you see it on the page?
Oh, let's see.
Yes, it just popped up.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. All righty then.
I don't have it on my page, so. All right.
All right.
We're live.
Lunch Bunch at the Spiritual Neighborhood. The Spiritual Neighborhood is a grassroots community project of the Council of Families for Children dedicated to the quality of life for the body, mind, and spirit, and for the integration of a happy, healthy human. And today we have Vicki, Dr. Vicki High, joining us again. Welcome back, Vicki. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and laugh with you girls. I decided that I was too mouthy the last time I was here, so I'm going to do more listening.
Oh, no, you're not. Get over yourself. No, you're not. What the hell?
So, Elizabeth, do you have a little bio that you can read?
I said, oh my God, I was just a magpie. I wouldn't shut up.
Vicki, the guests are supposed to do the majority of the talking, so we
That's
can
right.
You got the wrong glasses.
So don't feel bad. We're glad you're doing the talking.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you're here. It's
Exactly.
to do the talking.
Be here.
So
Why don't you talk about what's happening with you this weekend and what's coming up for you? You've got some classes that are coming up that you need to talk about.
I do. I am the founder of Heart to Heart Healing. I was talking a little bit about it on the last show, but I realized that I got in the ditch in the city stuff that I had done. So Heart to Heart is one of those things that I think I did say that I was a Reiki master teacher, still am, I guess, and I am a reconnective healing practitioner, but I don't practice it anymore because when I started doing those modalities, I started having some really cool things happen. And so finally, the guy that taught me reconnective healing, he said, Vicki, I don't know what you're doing, call it something else. So that's when Heart to Heart was born, because at that time, I had a supernatural experience where Jesus appeared to me and talked to me, and it changed my life. And so what he said was, when I speak to people, I speak to them heart to heart. And I thought, oh, okay, that's it. That's what I'm doing. So that began the journey. I've been doing it now for probably close to 20 years. I'm unlike a lot of people in that from the very beginning, I wanted to be the scientist that collected the data. So I have like mountains and mountains of data from most of the sessions that I've done. And then I also get a real charge out of seeing the people, the practitioners that I teach will call me back and they'll go, you're not going to believe this. I love those words. You're not going to believe it. Because they tell all amazing things too. So that's it in a nutshell. Now then, I'm going to have a class on Friday. It's 7 o'clock to 9:30 Friday night and all day Saturday, 9 to 5. When you're through with that class, it's very hands-on. It's very, you exchange information and you get to be both client on the table and practitioner. So when you leave that class, my job is to make sure you're confident in what you've learned. So I pull in all my experience from my 40 years of client training, and that's what's ended up happening in the workshops. I've got another workshop on July the 31st, same thing, 7 to 9:30 on Friday, all day long on Saturday. So then you get to hang your shingle as a heart-to-heart practitioner after you leave that workshop.
So did you call that reconnective healing? Is that how you're describing it, or is that something else? I got lost.
It's something else entirely. Reiki's one. Reconnective healing was the second thing I learned. I came from a Baptist background, so that was kind of like 2 steps out of the gate. And then finally the guy and I traveled around with him, and I kept having these miraculous things happen. And he finally just looked at me and said, hey, Vicki, what you're doing isn't reconnective healing. I go, oh, okay. Come to find out it was something totally different. What I've been told is that those were gateways into where I am today. And I'll take it. It's a wild ride, but
Wow.
an amazing adventure for me.
So how would you describe it for just the general listener, so they can walk away and say, Dr. High does this?
Well, the very simple thing is Dr. High teaches you how to access heart-to-heart healing, which is a very high frequency that is unconditional love, but puts it in a practical application so it's easy, effortless. You know how you in Reiki you use symbols and things for different stages? Heart-to-heart has no symbols. You need permission in Reiki. You need no permission in heart-to-heart. It's almost like a prayer with action.
Ah, now see, that's a great way to describe
Yes, okay.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I get that.
It's a powerful prayer with action.
I like that. I like that.
So did you create the prayer, or did you get it? I mean, did you get it? Is there a prayer that goes with this? And if so, did it come to you from your connections?
Yes, it's the frequency. Okay, so think about this. On our scale of frequencies, we have some that are earthy frequencies, and that's like Reiki is in that earthy frequency range. Heart-to-heart is in what I call the galactic frequency range. Okay, are y'all ready with that?
Yep.
Okay, so when it's over here in the galactic frequency, it's source. It's like you're bringing source, pure source, into your life. And it rocks it, man. Let me just demonstrate for you, okay?
Oh, good. Wait a minute, I gotta get comfortable. Hang
So
on.
we're ready.
And by the way, I was listening on Friday when you said that Luann was your favorite guest because she brought samples. So I am offering y'all samples.
See, it pays to ask.
Wasn't that genius? That was genius. It was genius.
It was genius. Because
was.
I am offering you, each one of you, a 30-minute session. You can have it in person at my house, or you can have it distance healing. It doesn't matter, because that's it. You can do it either way. So up to you.
Awesome.
That makes me have a question real quick. On your classes, are the people allowed to mask? If
Yes.
that makes them comfortable?
Yes,
Okay.
they are. But this is what I'm going to tell you too. And this is my own personal experience with COVID-19. Back in January, I had it. I had a tough time for 3 solid weeks. I was really sick. I was coughing. I had a terrible cough. And twice I woke up in the middle of the night gasping for air. And I remember praying, is this the way I'm going out? I have a few things left to do. So I filled myself up with heart-to-heart healing energy. And I thought, well, if I wake up tomorrow, I guess I'm staying. And that's what happened. I woke up. Both days, I woke up the next day. So I thought, okay, good deal. But it really does work. And so there'll be, I don't know, it's not a lot of people that are coming, but there's a few. And they are excited because this is one way to confront the COVID situation that we're in. And it's very effective at that, So that being the case, I'm going to hold my hand. See, my hands are like this. I'm going to hold it. And inside this is what I call the pink bubble, but it's actually an energetic torus. Y'all know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. So the energy is moving inside, outside, around, and that's what it is. So I want you to hold up. I think I'll do all of you at the same time.
Okay.
Let's do that. So
Okay.
all of you are going to have your left hand, because it's the closest to the heart, and you're going to put it in my torus through intention. That's all. So stick it ahead of you like this with the intention that it's in my torus of energy.
Okay.
And let me know when you feel it. Okay. How cool is that?
I got
Okay.
goosebumps, Vicki.
Do what?
I have goosebumps head to toe.
I know. I'm telling you, it's the wildest thing I've ever done, and I
I
love
see the hair sticking up on my arm.
I All of a sudden it's cold. It's really cold in here now.
That's the galactic part, Elizabeth. That's the galactic.
Of course it is.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've got chill bumps all the way down my legs. That's unusual. So that must be because of all y'all. So this is what happens next. Let me think how I would do this. The next thing is you make a torus, because everybody now, you've got that frequency in you. You can make a torus the same as me. Okay. Now, what I tell people is I'm introducing you to a really good friend of mine. Okay. But you've had this gift all along. You just haven't known how to access it. So I get
right
of introducing you to it. And then the more you use it, the more it teaches you. Okay. The student becomes the teacher becomes the student. That's how this works. So you feel your energy torus. You let me know when you feel your energy torus. Don't be afraid to spread it out like taffy. Bring it in and just sense how it differs for you. Okay, now, what I normally do if you were right here, and I don't know why I can't do that now, I'm going to put my hand, first I'm going to put my hand in your torus, Deborah. Do you feel my hand in your torus?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm moving over to Elizabeth. I've got my hand in your torus. Do you feel that? Okay.
Yep.
Betty, I've got my hand in your torus now. Mm-hmm. And Gail, I've got my hand in your torus. And even if I take my hand away, your torus is still moving energy.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool part is, and this is one of the coolest parts of all, is that it has the intelligence of God. So it goes to wherever you need it to go. You don't have to direct it. The best you can do is get out of its way.
Ah, okay.
It's like the light bulb went on. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. Seriously, get out of the way. Let it do what it needs to do.
You do not have to think of it. You do not have to direct it. Now, there are times when somebody calls you and says, hey, I've got a certain illness or injury that I need for you to work on. Okay, you can do that. But you might have come in, like I had when I was working at, when I was a mayor, I had one of the ladies that had fallen at the golf course. And she broke her ankle at the place where her foot and her ankle, you know, it was really a bad break.
Yeah.
So she's in what my family calls a Herman Munster boot. So she's got a boot on. And I look at her and I'm thinking, oh, do I really need to tell her that I'm doing this energy work on her? And then I just kind of got brave and I go, okay, I do energy work. Do you want me to? And I didn't get the words out of my mouth till she stuck her foot up for me to work on it. So I kind of squatted down, really uncomfortable. I probably was there no more than 2 minutes, if that. And I put her foot in my torus. She looked at me and she goes, I know you didn't touch my foot, but I felt my bone move. And then she said that she went to the, the foot doctor. It was
orthopedic surgeon.
Yes, thank you very much. She went to the orthopedic surgeon. He goes, oh, you've just got a hairline fracture. Your tendons will take longer to heal than your ankle. Now, she already had the
Oh my God.
Ankle, but that was her story to me. But what I knew, and this is my other really important thing, is that she had lost her dad. And these are the anchors that keep us in our lives. And when she got unbalanced from the death of her dad, she just kind of toppled over at the golf course. Well, when I said that to her, big old tears rolled down her face. And I thought, it's going to be okay. But we don't realize that the mental, emotional piece eventually shows up in the physical body. That we're all connected. And that is the source often for a physical injury. Now think about that for a minute.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Think back to your life and know that when you get off balance emotionally, you often have a physical reaction and injury or illness or something from that same impact.
Louise Hay built her whole career on that, and so did Florence Shin, who Louise studied under. So, I mean, yeah, they all made that connection between the emotional and the physical. So, absolutely.
When I was in Hollywood working for Dr. Pearl, who did the reconnective healing, I had lunch with Louise Hay one day.
Oh, you're so lucky.
I have been a very lucky woman in my life. I have been to have lunched with her. I met Dr. Emoto when he was here back in 2002 and had conversation with him. The list is long. I've been very, very fortunate in my life with the people, the spiritual leaders that I've met. Recently, I went to the Celebrate Your Life event in November of 2019, I think. Maybe it was 2018. I can't remember. I met some of the big ones, Marianne Williamson and James Twyman and Neil Donald Walsh and James Redfield and all kinds of really cool people. And I was just feeling quite blessed. Quite blessed.
So I've got a question, Vicki. I've got a question. Okay. What would you say if you were talking to someone or had a student in your class and they said, I think I do this, but I am the Taurus. I don't have one between my hands. I am the Taurus. What would that imply to you?
That they've probably had a near-death experience, that they already are familiar with this energy, and that they have adapted it in their own way.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Oh, geez.
Thank you for validating that. Thank you.
If that's not confirmation, I don't know what is.
Yeah. That's what I would tell them. Because a lot of people, when I introduce them to this, they go, I've already been using this. And my first question is, have you had a near-death experience? Because one of the things that I will tell you is that, and this is really part of the special part of my heart-to-heart work, is that when I first started, I would have people on the table and they would start talking. Well, I thought it was the person on the table. It wasn't until later I realized that it wasn't the person on the table. It was spirits and beings and masters. And God, dog, they were so cool in what they said to me. But one day they said to me, and I think I may have said this on the previous show, that they said, when you have a near-death experience or you die, you go across and you come back. Mm-hmm. And it's like a tennis ball in a swimming pool. That even when you pick up the tennis ball out of the swimming pool, the energy from the swimming pool is still in the tennis ball. That's how they described it. And then they said to me, Vicki, you were dead. There was no near death to it. And I'm thinking, oh, how do you know that? And they said, we were there. We were all there. And so it has been an amazing journey, but it's also very personal because they know us so intimately. you know, when you come back, you have a different understanding than when you went over there or you never went there in the first place. Right?
Right. It's a totally different world from that moment on. You're never the same.
No.
And
No.
I've had 4 of them. I've had 4 near-death experiences that I know of.
Wow.
So I asked them
Deborah, how many have you had?
I've had near death. I've had 5, and then like Vicky, I think the last one I had, I think I was truly dead. I was told I can make the choice. Do you want to go back or do you want to stay? It's up to you. And I said, I want to go back. And what was interesting to me is that when I had a private conversation with Kay Horn, she validated that and says that I always choose to come back because I like it here. I'm like, are you kidding? People annoy the hell out of me. What do you mean I like it? Because you do. You love it. And you're right. I do. I love it here. I really do. And the only frustration I have in this world is that it's so hard sometimes to get through to people on how they can be happy. And when I see people unhappy, and you're like, let me hand you this basket with happiness in it, just open the fucker, you know, excuse my French, I'm sorry. And, you know, and they refuse to open it. You're like, oh my God, what is wrong with you people? Please, please, you know. So,
Wow.
So did you have the same experience like that, like Deborah was talking about, the options?
Let's see. I don't have recollection of mine. And I think this is why. They said to me, you begged, you cried. God said, it's not your time. You had to go back. I'm like, really?
oh my God.
And so there's a part of me that says, you know, I think that we are hidden from that, although I know it happened and I can tell you the different times that it's been in my life. The last one was, let's see, the last one, that was the one where you know how you do dumb stuff when you're younger. I decided one time that I was playing softball and we went to softball practice. We got rained out. And I decided that I would drink a drink every time somebody ordered them. I'm a Baptist, 2 drinks max. What happened that day, I cannot tell you. And so what I ended up doing was I went back home and I'm sure I had alcohol poisoning, you know?
Oh my God.
Lay on the couch and I get really thirsty and I go back into the kitchen to get some water. And the next thing I know, I'm on the ground. I'm all wet. The water didn't get in me. It got on me. And I'm thinking, I better go sleep this off. So the next day I get up and I have like a headache right here. And I'm thinking, is that what a hangover's like? Because I hadn't had a hangover since then. And so I go into the kitchen and about this far above the baseball the baseboard is a hole this big that just
oh
my God.
That's something else we have in common. We have hard heads. Hard heads.
Yeah. Okay, so my first near-death experience was I was younger and I was in a domestic violence situation. So that was the first. Actually, the first one was when I drove my tricycle off my porch and I landed right here. I guess, you know, I opened my gifts then.
Apparently.
And then the second one was.
Well, she was definitely blind for a while, that's for sure. That third eye
got open, right? I mean, literally right here, the third eye. Dang. So then what did you do? Do the crown chakra was next or what?
Let's see. The next one was the domestic violence. The crown was that one. So that was in 1980. 80 something. Well, I didn't know for a long time that I had a near-death experience, but I went up to Vancouver, Washington, and I had a lady that did a session on me. She goes, tell me about hitting the wall. I went, hitting the wall? I said, oh, hitting the wall? I said, yeah, I hit the wall. She goes, oh, you died. There was no near-death about it. You died. And I thought, holy crap. And by this time, it's 20 years later. You know, 20 years had gone by. And so then most recently, I think it was 2014 or 2015, I just had one of those moments where I'm not sure what happened, but I got out of the shower and I was like, I knew I was going to faint. So I thought, oh, I better get a gown on so that if anybody has to come find me, they're not going to find me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's important. That's really important.
It really is important. Halfway
In clothing of some sort. Yes.
it did not work because the next thing I knew, I was waking up and I was between my jewelry armoire and my dresser, and I looked really bad. That one was right here. I finally said to them, I said, listen, do I need to continue hitting my head for a reason? I said, I think I'm all done with these near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Just, I'd like to keep my head intact. So
Yeah.
I haven't had one since. Thank goodness.
Well, didn't you, I mean, did how do I say this? When I woke up the last time, let me just put it that way, I could not get the phrase out of my head, and I still can't. It's always in the back of my head, comfort and joy, comfort and joy. And it's like I woke up understanding what those two words really entail. We really don't have any idea on this earth what comfort really means, what joy really means. And I have always felt like that's kind of my job, to open some doors so that people can explore. Because right now we look for being pain-free. Well, that's not good enough. Being pain-free is not good enough.
No.
That's not living.
No, it isn't. I don't have those. Let me think about this. I don't have those same words. My leftover from these experiences is that I know I crawled up in the lap of God.
Yes.
And
Yes.
feeling is the one that I remember.
Yes.
I know God. I love God. I am here to serve God, and not in the way of religions, but at that level above that, because I think we as humans have wanted to put God in our box of whatever religion we're in, and he is at, she is at, they are at, whatever, at a level above that. And I think that really bothers my Baptist folks.
Of course.
Of
course it does.
Bless
That
their
goes against
hearts.
everything that was taught through the Baptist sector.
Bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts. And at the same time, I will say that, they are entitled to worship God in their way. If they had experienced walked along with me, then they would do it in a different way. I'm okay with that. I don't have to convince them to do something different. I can be accepting of whatever they choose to do. And most of the time, they're accepting of me in that way. It's taken a few years, because at first they thought I was in a cult. And so...
Well, yeah, of course, it makes sense.
Oh my God. You're going to have to crack open a bottle of bourbon, and we'll have to change some stories up and share them and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah.
You know what? I think we need to have a gallery about the near-death experience. I think there needs to be a gallery about that for people to come and either ask questions or share their near-death experiences as well, because it would really...
I think
that would make a great compilation.
I think that would be helpful, because I think so many people fear death. This is the other benefit I got from that. It's like, oh, is it time for me to go yet?
Can I pack my bag? Okay, I'm ready. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Did I miss the bus? I missed the bus. Obviously, my watch has stopped.
Yeah, I've been told you're going to be here till you're in your 90s. I'm like, well, if you insist. Gee, wow, really?
Have something to share.
Then something good better be happening to me like now.
I better have a good stock of bourbon is all I've got to say.
I'm sure. Okay, so let me give you, I did put together a list of the things that you're going to get in the workshop.
Cool.
Okay. So here's the top 10. First, you get to identify your spiritual gifts. So many people come in and they don't know what their gifts are. So they get an opportunity to learn their gifts. Okay. Then they get to expand those spiritual gifts. One of the best things that I ever heard somebody say to me was, she goes, if you've been around Vicki for any length of time, you know she's into some weird shit. I think I did.
You? Oh, no.
It's true. And what was even more fun was when she got into her own weird shit. Oh my God. So number 3 is you learn an extraordinary healing modality that works on anything and everything 24/7. And I've got the statistics to back it up. And then you increase your frequency and awareness of what your spiritual journey is all about. Not what I think yours is, but what you decide your spiritual journey is. You learn to help people heal from not only diseases and illnesses and injuries. I've had some people that had broken bones, but they go back to their doctor and they're not healed like a broken bone is healed. It's as if the bone never was broken. Now that is cool.
It's renewed. It's renewed.
It is renewed and restored to its perfection. That's to the original blueprint. So you learn to heal people, situations, animals, plants, you name it, at a distance or in person. Either way, I don't think there's any difference, but people have a perception that if you're in person, face to face, that it's more powerful. To me, there's no difference. And then you learn more.
There's no difference.
There's no difference. You learn about tone. Have y'all ever dealt with tones in your work? Well, these are one of the explanations of one of the messages that I got is about the different tones and what their purpose is. This is one of the things I tell people when they sign up for the workshop. They say, you know, Vicki, all of a sudden I hear these tones in my head. You're stepping up to new frequencies. That's what that is. And so
it'll make your ears ring. Your ears feel like they're ringing for some reason, but it's a specific tone.
Mm-hmm. And that in your hands, they are putting tones into your hands that you use for heart-to-heart healing. So when you have the tones, then you know what they're for. You know, and me, I went, oh, really? What are those tones? And do I need to put them in there? They said, leave it to us, Vicki. You don't do a thing.
Get out of the way, girl. The bus is coming through.
Exactly right. So then we teach you how to do that, and then we add crystals. If you walk into my house, I don't know if you can see them. They're all over the place. I have crystals everywhere. I love crystals. I love them, and they augment the frequencies.
Energy. Frequency.
And so you unlock your own abilities to love at greater degrees. That's one of the best benefits for me, is that suddenly you can make a difference in your world and the people in your world, because that's why you're here, is to come back to that place of amazing love, unconditional love. That is the world of heart-to-heart healing. Okay, any questions?
I am enthralled. I'm so glad that someone is actually teaching something like this. I'm glad to have my own personal experiences validated by what I heard today. It's just nice to run into someone that likes red if you like red, you know?
Yep.
It is. So that's awesome. Awesome.
Would you like to hear some stories?
So where can people sign up for your classes, Vicki?
They can go online. First of all, it's www.ce20.us or heartconnections.us. So heart2heartconnections.us. And there's a place for you to fill it out, pay your money, get registered, and then you'll receive an email that tells you where it is, what to do, you know, anything to bring to the workshop. You get a training manual, you get a certificate at the end of it. So you are ready at the end of your time to start doing heart to heart for others. This could be an income stream. People are looking for things to do during this time, because this is the cool part. When you do a session for somebody else, you get a session of your own. It is a giving and receiving in the same motion. And it's life-changing. It's life-changing.
Are your classes in the DFW area?
Yes. Now I have practitioners all over the United States, because I've traveled and done workshops in different areas, but these are in my home. You come to this house, you'll see my fireplace and everything. Yeah. So it's a limited number of people that can come here, because right now it is in the Dallas area, but I'm open to setting up workshops in other cities. I'm not limited to DFW.
Well, and here's the benefit if you go to Dr. High's house. When you graduate, you get one of those bottles of wine to take home.
Yeah. If they ask me for a bottle of wine, I'll give it to them.
There you go. You can't beat that with a stick.
Can't beat that with a stick.
I love it. You know, I think that's a great idea, Elizabeth, that we should have Dr. High back, and we should do a gallery on near-death and dead experiences. There's near-death.
Yeah, dead.
There's dead, you know, and then there's
dead.
And the other thing is that there's the I should have died and didn't even get a scratch. And I've had a lot of those experiences as well, where there's no explanation why I got up and walked away like nothing happened, you know. And I think those are a lot of things that people like to talk about. And, you know, it's woo-woo for some people, but for some of us, it's just reality, you know.
Well, I think that a lot of people are afraid to talk about it. You know,
yes, they are.
They are afraid to talk about it, and they don't realize that as soon as they go over to the other side and come back, they are different. They're physical, their emotional, their mental, and their spiritual makeup has been transformed. And you don't always understand that until suddenly you're going, well, I already knew that. Well, how'd you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just knew. And you cannot explain it to them, but you just know that you know that you know. And I know this from being a little girl and having things that I knew. And what people would say is, well, she's got a really good memory.
Yeah.
But it was things like I knew what was in a wrapped box as a gift before I ever opened it.
Yep.
And that there's no way to explain that to somebody. You know, you can say, well, I'm claircognizant. And they'd go, what's that? I go, well, I just know a few things.
I was told all my life I was a walking book of trivia. I would know things that there was no reason for me to absolutely not. Like the recipe for steak tartare. I've never even had steak tartare, but I can tell you how to make it, you know. Just stupid things. Stupid things, you know. But it's there.
But, you know, in Betty Eadie's Embraced by the Light, I don't know if y'all have ever read that.
I love that book.
I did too.
It was
I love that book. I read that book on the plane back from knowing that my marriage was over and that it was time for me to read that book. So I'm reading that book thinking that I'm going to be real sad from the end of the marriage. And what ended up happening was I was like, holy crap, I think I've done this. And I read that page where it talks about, I thought it was chapter 4, and it was written just for me. It was like, I looked at him, he looked at me, I knew him, he knew me, I loved him, he loved me, and I was in the light of Jesus. And that book is different when I pick it up today. That chapter was written just for me. And I don't think I would remember my near-death experience until I picked that book up.
Wow.
Wow.
And how they enlightened me as far as, because I kept telling people, oh, you got to read chapter 4. It's my favorite.
That book for me, Vicki, was the first time I ever really truly understood who God was. Because I always that fear and the fear of punishment and hell was so embedded in me. But reading that book just really allowed me to open myself up to God more than I ever have, and then that helped guide me where I am today. So
I love that. Well, what I was going to say is, in that book is where she goes into, she is asking a million questions, you know, when she meets him, and we're talking Jesus, but she meets Jesus and she's asking as fast as her mind can imagine those. And then he goes, you know, it's okay, you're going to get all your questions answered. And I'm thinking, oh, it's a good thing. But he took her to the living library, where all you have to do is think, and the answers are there for you. And that's what came to mind when you said that. You have access multiple times to that living library.
Well, what's really fun for me is that when you ask a question and the first thing in the answer was, I've told you this a million times, are you going to pay attention? Like, I'm doing the best I can here. You should have done a little better with his body. You know? Did she? Oh, there she is. I thought we'd lost your sound for a minute. Well, it was a joy having you here today. I really mean that, comfort and joy. And so you've got to come back. Maybe we can coordinate schedules and do a gallery thing here in the next 30 days. I think that would be incredible.
I would love that.
I would too. I would too. So, all right. Anybody got any more questions?
Nope.
Thanks
again. Yeah, but we'll
talk about one of my favorite subjects.
What?
I said, thanks again for letting me talk about one of my favorite subjects. And
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And everybody can go to
Thank you so much for being on.
My pleasure.
You can go to Spiritual Neighborhood on Facebook and find Dr. Vicki's link to her website.
Yes, thank you. And we will see you again real soon.
Next month.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.
I did it. Okay. Yay.
All right.
Was that just not fascinating or what? Oh my gosh. I'm very comfortable
Absolutely.
in what I know and what I know, but it is so exciting to have someone else know what you know. You know what I'm saying?
Like a
Oh, yeah. It's a great validation. It really is. There's
It
nothing
is.
like it. And it's so unique in its origin.
It is. It really is. So
It's
that
like,
would.
do you know how to speak Greek? And the other person says yes. And you go, oh my God. Can we now talk in Greek? And they go, well, yeah, of course. I get it. I understand what you're saying. But a lot of other people do not know how to speak Greek.
Well,
Or Aramaic.
that
Let's
just
put it
made
that way.
me happy.
Aramaic. Yeah.
What
Wow.
what the hell is she
Well,
talking
I could just feel all these questions just like, oh my God, my mind just wants to just go.
Well, I think that if you have not had any exposure or experience with what we have talked about today, you need to call Dr. High and get into one of his
Absolutely.
classes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
So,
coming up this weekend, Friday.
I
and
mean, what could it
Saturday.
hurt? What could it hurt? Look at it this way. Go try it. What could it hurt? You always have the right to reject any information that's given to you.
That's
So,
right.
you know,
Well,
It won't hurt you.
no, absolutely not. Well, all right. Anything else going on for you guys today?
Oh man, I got a ton of stuff to do.
You're always busy, 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 busy.
Yeah, well, it's not always necessarily money coming in, but it is, you know, I'm not unhappy. Let's put it that way.
I have worked harder during this quarantine than I have worked in years.
Is that not the honest to God's truth? I mean, seriously.
I mean, I just want to tell everybody, in case y'all have not figured this out, all of my businesses went kaplooey March 13th. And I have not been working at my PI business, my entertainment business, and anything else. So this has turned into a full-time job. One of these days it's going to be a full-time paying job. But but I'm enjoying the heck out of it right now. There's a fly in here and I keep swatting.
I hate that. I hate those things.
I know.
Ay.
So tomorrow is Tipsy Techno Tuesday, right? We don't have a guest.
Hi, everybody.
I am drinking tomorrow, so get ready. I am drinking, and I have given myself permission to be wild and woolly. And Betty's going like she never has permission to do that.
Oh, really?
So, Elizabeth, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at my calendar. I have clients tomorrow, so I have to behave.
You have to behave, so you won't be drinking 4 beers like you did last week.
No, I will not. Golly,
I miss those days. I miss it when you don't do that.
Yeah, but I'm paid for that. Man, I really paid for that. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, Gail and I'll make up for it, won't we, Gail? We'll double up for you.
Okay, I'll be the designated driver. Y'all drink, and I'll be the designated driver. How's that?
That'd be
I can do
great.
that. I can do that.
Maybe I should give you charge of the recording then too, to make sure it gets shut off and everything.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You don't lose your train of thought that far.
Well, yeah, I did because we're still recording now, so I forgot to stop recording. I got so excited I forgot. All right, Gail, close us out and I'll turn everything off.
Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for sharing your time and energy with us at the Spiritual Neighborhood Lunch Bunch. We're a community project of the Council of Families for Children. To contact any of the hosts, Elizabeth, Deborah, or myself, email us at spiritualneighborhood@gmail.com, and don't be shy to ask to be a guest on our show. Until we eat again, it is lunch, right? Be safe and be whole, and thank you for joining us today, and thank you,
Seek
Vicki,
magic every
Dr.
day.
Vicki, for joining us.
Seek magic every day.
Every day. Seek it every day.
Why not? You know what I wish that, wait a minute, you know what that cup really needs to say? It should say create magic every day. We're going to get you a new cup.
Well, we need to talk to Kat Mitchell.
I don't know who Kat Mitchell is.
She made this cup.
Oh,
I
well,
actually have a
totally.
wine tumbler that's got this on it as well. A wine tumbler. We may have to do a way to whoever is, a certain number on the show or so. We'll talk about that. We may use that as a giveaway. The wine tumbler.
3 levels of giveaway though. The first level is seek magic. The second level is create magic, and the third level is be magic. And
You write that down. Now, write that down now.
Write it down. Quick, I will.
Quick, write it down.
So that would be the 3 levels. So, all right. So bye, everybody. Wade.
Bye, everybody. Take
You're
care.
all beautiful. Thank
Y'all
you
be
so
safe
much.
out there. Okay, bye.